And what I've done is I've actually downloaded the mobile app from the iTunes App Store onto my phone. Of course, for any other devices, you would download the mobile app for your phone, and then your URL and your username and password would then pull up your Dynamics CRM. So I'm going to be clicking on the application, and we're going to go into it and just take a look around and get the lay of the land. Okay. So now that I'm logged into the application itself, it's actually pulled up the last item that I looked at while I was logged in, which is a really nice thing. It remembers what I was last on, so it could pull it back up in case I got pulled away from that activity and needed to complete whatever I was working on before. But I'm actually going to use the back button, or of course you can use the home button to go to your dashboard. So we're logged in here into the app, and I just want to kind of scroll through and show you what's available to us, how the application works, what's available to us while we're mobile. So you can see here at my home page, I have recent items or items that I've actually pinned to my home page. So I'll show you how to do this as we pull items up later on through the presentation. And these are just really quick links. So if I click on Rig Atlas, that takes me to the Rig Atlas opportunity. If I click my back button, that takes me back to that home page. So if you have, as a salesperson, if you're on the road and you will have some big sales that you're working on, you probably want to pin those to your home page, and then you can recycle those pinned items, unpin them, pin new ones in the future as they become relevant or more important. I'm going to scroll, swipe to the left, and you can see that I also have another dashboard element here that's a chart. If I drill into the chart, for instance, if I want to see as a manager what Krista Geller is working on, I can click on that, and I would see the cases that Krista's working on. And really, these dashboards that are available to us, or the items that we're seeing during today's presentation, can be modified, customized, and changed by your system administrator. This is really just for demonstration purposes, but whatever is relevant to your users, you can make available to them. I'm going to swipe left again, and you can see here another chart, or another view, really, active cases. And again, if I click on a bar, I'll get more information. This is a list of the active cases. If I click in or drill into one of these items, it actually shows me more detail. So right now we're focused on a case or an issue that's in the system. It's a Bluetooth connectivity issue. I can see the activities if I click on activities, and then use my back button to go back. I can see knowledge base records that are linked to this. I can see who the owner is, which is Jamie Redding, priority, and we can also see what stage and status this case is in. So it's in the CSAT stage, and it's not yet resolved. I could, however, right on my mobile device, let's say I'm a service tech, I'm out on site somewhere, I want to take care of this issue, I can always pull this up on my mobile device, click on resolve, set the survey to yes, and resolve the issue. And we can leave that open or save it. So we can go through into these items, and you can see there's more detail here. The other thing that I want to point out or show you is that right on these screens, so we're looking at the summary screen for this case, and of course if you pull up an opportunity, which we will in a little bit, it's the same idea. So we'll see some basic information on the very first page here. If you look at the bottom, there are these little dashes, and as I swipe, you'll see the dash moved over one. It's giving me a little more detail, and I can scroll up and down on this particular page. Scroll again to the swipe again, I'm sorry, and you can see again here there's open activities. Swipe again, and so really this is more for efficiency, not having a page with a really long list of items that I have to scroll up and down. Rather, I can swipe and see more information about whatever I'm focused in on or honed in on, which is really nice and convenient. The other thing that I can do when I'm focused in on a particular item, in this case, a case, I can click on the ellipses at the bottom of the screen. I can save and route this. So if I was just like normal Dynamics CRM, you could route something. I could click the Save and Route button at the top. I could actually initiate a new one. I can create a child case, resolve the case, and of course I have the, sorry about that, I don't want to delete the case. And of course I have other options at the bottom here. So you can see here I can cancel, add to queue, I can reassign this case to somebody else, delete, and the item called Pin to Home is what we looked at when we first logged into the system. So I'm going to click on that pin to home. What that's going to do is actually just make a shortcut to my home screen on my mobile device, which actually makes this item quickly available to me. And you can see there are other options here. So I can refresh in case somebody, let's say in the office, is updating this particular incident or case. I could refresh this and see new information about it. Also resolve it, create a child case, new, save, and route. And those are the same quick buttons that I have right at the top there. So I'm actually going to go back. So we're just going to go right to our home screen so I can show you the pinned. And here you can see that I have the new pinned item right here, connect Bluetooth device to 3D, which is really convenient for me. The other thing I have the capability to do is search on all information in the system. So the magnifying glass is just showing me a search, and of course I can filter my searches by, let's say, account, contact, lead, opportunity, by user, competitor, activity, or case. So we could look for information within the system that's live, we are connected online, and then pull that information up right on our mobile device. And then on the far right at the upper right hand corner I have menu. So if I click on that menu, you can see I have the full system basically available to me while I'm on my mobile device. So the first thing is dashboards, and of course we saw that dashboard that I previously pulled up, multiple dashboards in fact, that can show up for single users. Users can also toggle between dashboards. Let's say you have sales managers as well as sales people, and they want to log in outside of the office. You can set up multiple dashboards for them. Perhaps the sales manager wants a view into all of the salesperson dashboards, as well as an overview dashboard to see what's going on as a whole, whereas sales people might want to only see their own items that they're working on, potential sales, their leads, etc. And so your system administrator could set up those dashboards differently, assign those, make sure they're system views, and then those would be available on their mobile devices. We can also take a look at activities and add activities to the system by clicking the plus button. You'll notice these plus buttons are across the board. They're for adding information. You can certainly add information from wherever you are in the system, and that would be live and integrated with your live CRM system. Oops, I'll go back again here. We can also look at accounts. As you can see here, we have all the accounts. Let's click on Fourth Coffee in Bogota, and you can see here there's information about that account. Remember, those dashes at the bottom of the screen show us that there are multiple pages that we can swipe through. So here I can see the ownership is private, annual revenue, number of employees, the owner of the account or the account manager, and other information. And these items are actually set up in blocks, which is nice. I can click on activities and see activities for this particular account. I can select the date range for the activities and even add a new activity. So there are different views and ways to see the information. You can also click on opportunities, for example, and again, I could click through. The filters all can be modified there. This is currently saying my open opportunities for me, the logged in user, but you could certainly change that. The other thing I can do right from my mobile device is I can make a call or send an email, and you can see there's a call button here. And there's also an email button here. If I perform or I make a phone call for this individual at Fourth Coffee, Gabrielle Canada, it would actually give me the prompt after the phone call to enter details about that phone call. So I could put in what we talked about and put in any other necessary information, save that directly right through my mobile device, and then it's actually in our live system. Same thing with an email. I can send it directly from my mobile device, and that email is then saved, set regarding for this particular account and contact, which is also really convenient. I'm going to swipe, and you can see I can see more account information. This is summary information about the account. And of course, if your phone is supporting maps, etc., you can click on an address, pull up a phone number, initiate an email from anywhere where you see an email address, phone number, or address. We can see the recent opportunities with this particular account. So if I click on, let's say, home entertainment, we can see that it's an open opportunity that Molly Clark is working on. The estimated close date has been past due, but it doesn't mean that it's a lost sale. and more information about that particular opportunity. So I can slide through and see that. I could also just use my built-in back button at the top of the screen to take me back to where we were and start over again. I'm going to go back one more time, and that just takes us back to the account. So let's just actually click on Fourth Coffee, and we'll go to the opportunity so we can cover some more items. Sorry, wrong button. Okay, we'll just click on, actually we'll use our menu here and we'll go to opportunities. And you can choose your date range. All right. So here we have the W Hotel project from owner Molly Clark, and you can see this opportunity is in the qualify stage. We could, while we're using our mobile device, actually progress the opportunity. So let's say we're a salesperson, we're working on a particular sale, and we want to move this from the qualify stage to the develop stage. And really these stages and the workflow is based on how you guys set up your system and not particular to the vanilla out-of-the-box application that comes with Dynamics CRM. So this would look different depending on what your system actually looks like. So I can click on develop and put in the customer need. So we'll say they need decor and fabric. The proposed solution is provide a bid. We've identified the key stakeholders, we've identified competitors, and of course, you could then move on to the next stage of the opportunity. So we're putting in all information about the opportunity. You can also take it on to the next stage if we need to, or put more information in about the opportunity itself. So just to show you, you can absolutely add activities, documents, etc. So if we wanted to add an activity, we could put that in. So we'll say it's a phone call, and we'll make it due tomorrow. And we're going to check in on the quote that we've sent. Okay. So once we've created the phone call, that goes onto our activities and our calendar. Let's go back to the menu and just take a look at the other options here that are available to us on the application itself. So we can also look at other items such as contacts, leads, opportunities that we're on right now, competitors, quotes, invoices, products, projects, social profiles, cases, queue items, and knowledge-based articles. Now with that said, it really depends on the user security of what they can pull up. So if we're blocking an individual from seeing invoices, for example, that security would be honored on the mobile device and they wouldn't be able to see things they couldn't normally see. So you don't need to worry about setting up separate security for mobile use than from the regular online use. That would just be honored in the same. The other thing we can do is, this is a common activity as a salesperson, for example, is to add leads to the system on our mobile device. So if I click on leads, I can see my current open leads that are in here, and I'm logged in as Molly Clark. But I can also add leads to the system. I can click on the plus button to add more information. And you can see I get the create lead screen. So I can put in the topic of the lead, and you can call it, of course, whatever you want. Put in the budget amount. In this case, it's $75,000. The time frame is next quarter. And we'll put in the personal information. So no matter where the user is entering the information from, whether it be they're on the road and they meet somebody, or they're actually at a trade show floor, wherever it happens to be, they can put that information directly into the system and it can be nice and easy for them. And of course, you can put in the contact details, whatever is actually there, and then that lead is created. So that's just a live link. I've added the Jessica Clay hot sale in here. It's right in there. I can also then move that along. As a user, I probably want to pin it to my home screen, so I have this quick link button up at the top, pin it to my home, and if I go to my home, it's loading up here. Just locked up for a second here. If I go to my home screen, it would be there on my home page. So looks like I froze up here, Brian. Do we have any questions we can go to while this comes back to normal?
Yeah, we did have a couple of questions that came through. The first one happened earlier. It was you're using Dynamics CRM on your iPhone. Can I use it on Android?
Yes, you can. So you can use Dynamics CRM really on any mobile device. You just want to download it from your appropriate store, app store, and then you would add it to your mobile device, and just like you would any other application.
The same person also asked, does the app look any different on an iPad than it would on an iPhone?
So that's a good question. It actually does look a little bit different on an iPad and also on a tablet. So if you're pulling it up on your iPhone, it actually knows, and I'm sorry, it's still hung up here, so I'll just continue talking and minimize the screen. The tablet or the iPad view looks different, knows what device you're on, and so it's going to give you a little more robust of a screen. You might see more than one chart on the screen, whereas on the actual phone itself, you're going to see something more minimized, like a bar chart. On the iPad or a tablet, you're going to see several charts, including pie charts, etc., on a single screen rather than swiping through to see on the next screen. So it's a little more robust, and it knows that you have more real estate to work with.
All right. Looks like one of the people on the call already has this application or Dynamics CRM. It says, I have the application and don't see anything about it being available offline. Is there something that we're missing?
Okay, so the application Dynamics CRM is available offline. There are some, I guess, some limitations, or there's a caveat to that. So in order to have offline usage, which I'll talk about in a second, and I'm glad you asked that question, is that you need to have either 5 professional licenses to have the offline version available to you, or 1 enterprise license. And so you have either of those minimum requirements, you'll have offline version available to your users. And just to dive into that a little bit further, the offline version is really nice in that what it does is it'll download information to your mobile device while you're online. And then when you're offline, it just knows that you're offline and still makes that information available to you, but it puts a little icon in the lower right-hand corner that says you're offline. So it's just telling you you're offline. And so everything that you do while you are offline is then saved and just waiting for you to be back online to synchronize back to the online version. So in fact, you can actually add new information, edit information, or view current information while you're offline, in case you don't have internet connectivity from wherever you are, and then you would be able to get what you're doing. And so it's a really nice feature. You may have to upgrade or purchase an additional license or 2 to meet that minimum requirement of 5 professional or 1 enterprise, but that could be well worth it to you as an organization in order to have that offline feature or availability.
Okay. Yep, that was a good support question. Let's see here. If our administrators make changes to our stages on the opportunities, will I see those changes on my phone, or do I have to download the whole application again to see the changes? I ask because our workflow is going to be changed soon.
So changes that are made to your Microsoft Dynamics CRM Online can obviously be made at any point by your administrators, and those changes don't automatically download to your application that you have on your mobile device. What you'll see when you log into your mobile device at every point in time, so if I log in and log out, log back in later, I'll get a prompt that says that there have been changes that have been made to our online version, and do I want to download those now or wait? And so you have the option every time. You can either download those changes that may be to what you're suggesting, the workflow, of the opportunity. It could even just be drop-down changes, changes to forms, or the changes that you see on the screens, dashboards, etc. Those changes will not automatically flow in, but you'll receive the prompt to download. Just as a note, I wouldn't necessarily download these if you're about to do something pressing. It can take several minutes. It doesn't take that long, but it could be long enough where it could interrupt what you're doing depending on the volume of the changes. So I would wait until a period of time where you know that you don't need to access anything on your application and then come back later. So end of day or before you go to sleep, perhaps you want to open your app and then download the changes and wait till the morning before you work again. Just makes it a little bit more prudent approach to see those changes, but that's a really good question.
All right. Here's another one on the offline version, which I guess we haven't shown yet. But on the offline version, can we make changes or only view records?
You can make changes. When you make the change on the offline version, if you're offline, you'll receive a prompt or a warning on the screen that those changes aren't going to be synchronized until you're back online. So it'll just let you know that you're offline. The changes that you're making aren't going to be reflected in the live system yet, but you'll then those changes would then sync back up. So you can certainly do that, and you can also add new information.
Here's the million-dollar question. Is there any way to use the application hands-free, like if you're driving?
So there is a way to use application hands-free. Of course, with any hands-free version of anything, there are going to be, I guess it's not going to be perfect necessarily, but there's certainly integration with Cortana voice commands for phones. So if you have those voice commands in your phone, then CRM will work with those to a degree, and you can actually download an information or contact your success coach at Quanta for that link. We can send you the documentation on it, or Brian, you can post it. It just tells you what those commands are, so what to say. For example, you can say CRM open account named Contoso, and that would open up the account named Contoso. So you have to stick to the type of command or the way that the command is structured. And then, of course, it must understand what you're saying in order to use that. But there certainly is the possibility of using the application hands-free for a lot of different commands and needs.
Okay. That looks like that wraps up the questions. You just want to flip to the last screen here?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure there weren't any other questions. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I'd like to thank everyone for attending today. I know your time is valuable, so I hope you found the information we presented valuable too. If you have any questions that come up after we end this presentation, please feel free to reach out to Eric Anderson or your account manager. They're at 844-244-6310. The number's there on the screen. They'd love to hear from you guys. And again, today's presentation was recorded and will be posted to the quantacrm.com/events webpage by the end of the day. So if you missed some details or if you know someone you think might benefit from what we presented here, you can find the recorded webinar there. So again, thanks to everyone for attending, and everyone have a great and productive day.
Thanks, everybody.